are not able to screen movies, big releases have been postponed, shootings put on hold, budgets are shrinking. Many artists, daily wage employees are struggling to make the ends meet. That's the reality of India's film industry today in the time of coronavirus. But what next for the industry? What lies ahead? Cinema in the time of corona. Let's find out in this week's India Revival Mission on Times Network. Joining us on the broadcast this evening is Madhur Bhandarkar, who is a well-known director, Nitin Mukesh, who is an actor, doesn't need any introduction, and also Devang Sampat, Director, Strategic Initiatives, Cinepolis. Thank you very much, all of you gentlemen, for joining us here on this special broadcast. Let me begin this with you, Mr. Madhur Bhandarkar. Can you tell us how badly has COVID really impacted the film industry, this entire filmmaking business?
Well, definitely it's a huge dent because you've seen this from past 6 months. Not only India, but throughout the world, we've seen Hollywood also being shut. So definitely there's a big dent for especially the behind-the-scene people who work, the technicians, the daily wages people. They are hit big time, you know. Stars, actors, they still are been resourceful and they have, the kind of security. But the daily wages and the technicians have really hit big time. But I'm happy the Film Guild and IFDA, they're all the main people over there in the film industry taking care of those technicians and those people who are there. But overall, definitely the whole morale has been down. And the film industry is definitely into doldrums right now. I'm talking about, it's across the world. I mean, to see all the theaters are bleeding big time. The single-plex theaters, the technicians, all the labor workers to work over there. So it's definitely a very sad time for the entire entertainment industry.
Sad time for the entire entertainment industry, says a filmmaker. What about actors? Nitin Mukesh, how has been your experience in this time of coronavirus? And what, according to you, has been the biggest challenge?
Well, I think honestly, the biggest challenge, like Madhur sir has said, that is first of all survival. As an artist, what happens is you can work only on that much content at that much time, and once it's released, you need to get working again. Now there has been a massive gap for the last almost 6 months, and so now by the time the lockdowns really do start, by the time another film really goes back on the floor, it hits the theater. It's I always say that filmmaking is like a 9-month process. It's like giving birth to a baby, So 9 months post that, so almost a year and a half gap, audience start getting slightly impatient. They feel that the actor isn't working. They sometimes don't realize that it takes so much time to make one film. Many actors like working on one film at a time. Especially me, I do one film at a time. So when I have delivered all my films and they've already released up on an OTT platform or have hit the theaters before the pandemic, now it's going to get slightly more difficult to try and bridge that gap of time. And I feel that 2020 is definitely a lost year, in that sense for many artists who hadn't started a film. Also, what I feel is, I feel that, there might be some desperate calls by artists who might find it scary for survival, like Madhur sir was saying, that are careful. But there are some artists who might find it very difficult to survive as well. So there will be some desperate calls. And while they might not want to be a part of a certain project, they won't have a choice and take decisions of, okay, let's be a part of this film. It might not be the best technical output right now, but we don't have a choice. So there are, and I won't lie, I have been contemplating and weighing the pros and cons of many films of such caliber also. But I keep pulling myself back from films or from projects or from web shows if I'm not 100% sure, and I try and see whether I can sustain this lockdown period for another while. I don't want to make a wrong decision. So there are artists who I feel would be making some really hasty decisions also, but I don't blame them at all because it's the matter of survival right now.
Absolutely. In fact, you've raised two very, very important issues. One is about the OTT platforms. We'll discuss about that in just a bit. You also mentioned about films being released in theatres, and that really hasn't happened since a very, very long time. Mr. Devang Sampat, could you tell us what kind of problems the theatre owners are really facing at this point in time? Because since lockdown began in the month of March, theatres, cinema halls have remained shut, and we don't know when unlock phase 4 begins from 1st of September, whether that will be allowed to open or not.
Madhur sir and Nitin rightly pointed out, it's a question of survival. Cinepolis globally operates in about 17 countries. We were the first one to close. It's the first time in our history that there is zero revenue. There are about 2 lakh plus people who are dependent on exhibition side, and then there are more for production and for other platform of this industry. It's a large industry is completely on a standstill. We don't know when it will open. We know for sure that it is a matter of time that government lets us open, and then the industry will be back soon. Unlock 4, as you rightly said, we don't know whether that will happen or not. Currently, it's almost 6 months. Everything is on standstill. The equation for cinema business has a 3 value chain. It starts from our land partner, meaning a developer partner, all the malls, whom do we lease out the space from.
Okay.
So even the real estate is hit there, meaning we are not able to pay rental and their revenue becomes zero. So even the mall business is hit big time. From mall business, then we have our distributor partners,
yes,
producer partner, who's currently we are not able to exhibit their movie. Yes, there are an alternate revenue form which is OTT, but it does not create the full value cycle. There are big budget movie which has, which is being produced and now not able to extract the exact value of that movie. And then there is a third piece, which I would say a supplier who supplies us on a daily basis, even though we say it's only the employment that we are creating, but there is a lot of indirect employment that happens, right from vendor of popcorn to sandwich supplier to, even the housekeeping and the security, so the third party labor. So this industry caters to a 360 degree of value chain. The entire value chain is hit. We have to come back. We have to come back hard. Government, we have been making our representation to government on, why cinema industry is safe. Our survey says that 74% of the people wants to come back to cinema as soon as we are allowed to open.
Okay, that's interesting what you're telling us, Mr. Sampat, that that many people want to come back. But Mr. Madhur Bhandarkar, now people have also got used to this idea of OTT platforms. We're talking about Digital India all the time. Do you think people will be able to change their habits soon, even if theatres reopen, say, in the next 1 or 2 months?
See, the thing is what I agree with you completely. From last 6 months, people are watching OTT platform and all the Netflix and Amazon and all the other platform. And they're getting used to, and all the new movies also coming on the same platform, which was supposed to be released in the theater. Try to understand one thing. Film magic is something different, I mean to say. Right now, definitely there's an apprehension in public to go in the theater to watch the movie, and there are guidelines from the government of India also. Okay, whenever they open, how many percentage of the capacity is being given permission to? 25%, 30%. There are some countries where it's open on 25%, 30%. But the euphoric moment of the theater was not there. But definitely there are some big movies will be there which people would like to go in the theater, but not immediate. It will take maybe 5 months, 6 months, 7 months. Definitely, Devang can give a better perspective into it. Because right now, I think people are definitely so accustomed to the OTT platform. And they're watching movies of big stars and big series and everything is over there. But for theater, it will take time. It will take baby steps. How people come, how the people respond to the theater, coming to the theater, what the measures they're going to take when they come to the theater, how much the curve comes or the vaccine comes by the time, and it minimizes the numbers of the pandemic. That all depend on that. Right now, it's completely a black hole. I cannot say right now where it will head. It's completely backward right now.
Okay. There's something called as, I was reading about it, box office validation. Neil, do you think that is missing the frenzy about this 100 crore club, 500 crore club? All of that is missing, at least in OTT platforms. So perhaps that's the reason why filmmakers at least are now holding back the big releases. But do you think, perhaps over the next 6 months, things could become normal for the entertainment industry? Of course, all eyes are on a possible vaccine for coronavirus, but we don't know when is it going to come. But we have to learn to live with this coronavirus.
Ji rightly said, like even the way Devang sir and Madhur sir both pointed out, I feel that first of all, this entire pandemic faces a great level up. So yes, that the whole charm of having a box office bell ringing constantly and having a chartbuster film out there with constant numbers ticking and getting those kind of numbers is going to be a very difficult task. In fact, what Devang sir said, and I want to just to highlight that, is what he was trying to say. It's a domino effect, So if one business, and the main entertainment business, if the entertainment business is hit, there are many. It's a domino effect. So it's a chain reaction to multiple avenues, multiple aspects of the entertainment business. And having said that, I feel that it's going to be very difficult to and get back those kind of numbers, because even when and if the government does allow the theatres to open, to what percentage are we going to be allowed to open up? Then after the percentage, how many people are really going to have theatre business? Like Madhur sir said, is an experience. It's for a man go in and experience the film. But if you're going to have restrictions over his entertainment value, I don't think he will take that as the choice with a family outing, and especially for a middle class family who spends a certain amount of thousands a month. For him, that amount holds a lot of value, and especially in today's time.
Well, yes. And, at the same time, social distancing is the need of the hour. You're talking about experience in a theatre. If friends will be asked to sit, leaving one seat in between.
So like I said, the occupancy will open up to a certain amount. So till how long will the film have to sustain in a theatre to recover its money? So films which are massive, big budget films, over 100 crore production values, how are they going to recover? What is their strategy of sustaining into a theatre? I think it's going back 25 years ago when we used to have single screens and just about a few theatres that would run one film for months and months. I think maybe that would be a strategy. I have no idea. That, of course, Devang sir would be able to highlight more. But being a student of films, being a producer myself and an actor right now, we constantly dabble off the aspects also. Should we start looking at direct to OTT, or should we wait for theatres? Of course, the first priority would be theatres. That is where the intention of every film lover, every film student lies. There is no experience better than the theatre experience, and there's no chance that post-pandemic people will not go and flood the theatres again. They will want to. That is definitely a no-brainer. But the current situation that demands that you need content also. First of all, even OTT has a saturation of content. Okay. So they are also constantly on the demand point of, they also do require content. But of course, then having said that, there is just that much amount of production value that you can pump in if it's a direct to OTT feature film, or because there is no theatrical, maybe a satellite would be different. So the equation of the production value of executing a film changes completely. So where we might see great stunts happening in a film, where we used to see, we might have to, some of the producers might have to probably rethink on the execution and the investment on production level. So that I'm also scared, because that might take a hit on the quality of cinema, which we probably won't have a choice if we have to survive and cater to all these aspects coming together.
Mr. Madhur, Bhandarkar, have you started shooting for any film? If yes, then how has been your experience? What is it that has changed from time before March and now?
Huge. I think there's a huge paradigm shift right now because one thing, let me tell you, I've not started shooting, but I'm scripting my movies and a lot of web series I'm working on.
So have you
Right
put
now,
things on hold? Have you put things on hold?
Yeah. Things on hold. Absolutely things on hold because see, there are sequences in the film where you have a lot of huge crowd, a political rally or a party in the film or a song sequence. How we are going to shoot with so many people over there? And now the SOP just come last week only from the government of India. We have to follow those norms and those measures also. How we are going to shoot. But let me tell you, Hina, it's not very easy the same it was 6 months back. It will be completely different revamp in the industry in terms of shooting, in terms of social distancing, in terms of people are definitely there. Like I said, there's an apprehension among people. And in case one person also get a COVID on the set, the entire set will be completely, sealed.
Absolutely.
So lot of things are there. So people have to think. I know a lot of actors, big actors. I don't know name them, but what I'm hearing is a lot of people have said that we don't want to shoot till the time the vaccine doesn't come. 100%. So that is also one thing over there because we have to take care because we are surrounded. See, shooting an ad film, shooting still photography, that's a different thing. Or web series also certain. Now web series also has a huge budget and you have a crowd. It's like a film only nowadays.
Yes.
So we have to look to all the aspects. We have to look the safety for all the people over there, all the technician over there, and the stars, actors who are there. Because if one get COVID, then everything has to be isolated and the family have to be away from that person. So a lot of things have to be taken care. So right now we have taken baby steps. Right now a lot of television series has been started. One film I remember that started in Scotland right now, Akshay Sir movie, which is called Bell Bottom. It's shot abroad, not here. So I don't know exactly how things will take shape. So, but I said baby step, it will be there. But full-fledged shooting, it will take time.
It will take time. What is the plan B, Mr. Devang Sampat, as far as the theatre business is concerned? Because you will have to take a lot of steps, measures to lure people back into the theatres. People might not be very comfortable looking at the safety aspect.
So let me address in two parts. One, we are saying safety aspect. Second is whether there is a demand, whether people want to go out. They want to socialize. Humans are social in nature. They want to go out. Sitting in a cinema hall and watching movie is 90 times more safer than sitting in an office in a conference room.
That's true.
Or going to any amusement park. Now, there are many activities which are already open. And this is something which I'm talking through a survey done by University of Casino. It's in Italy and Queensland. There are 500 health professionals who have come across and suggested this study. That's how world over cinema is open. The moment we see a fresh content coming in, people just want to go out. We are getting numbers. There is a movie released by Warner Brothers 10 last week. In many territories, it has seen houseful, not only for one show, but with the given capacity up to 50% capacity for continuous 3 days. And why is that? It's because there is a pent-up demand. People want to go out. They want to socialize. We've been sitting at home for more than 6 months.
Yes,
socializing is required. I think the bigger and the most important part is whether we are safe or not. I traveled yesterday, took a flight. The flight is 100% full. There is not a single seat empty on airline. And if that is safe, then how come cinema is not? I believe it's just a matter of time. And I'm not saying, look, COVID is here to stay.
Yes.
Vaccination, we don't know. The earliest vaccination that has come for any disease before is about 3.5 years.
True.
Now, for us to expect that, any vaccination will come within next 6 months, 8 months and wait for not get into a normal routine, I would say is not the right approach to look at the life.
So we have to eventually learn to live with it.
We'll have to. I think people have started to learn to live with it. Cinemas have taken precaution as the entire industry, not only I would say as Cinepolis, globally we have taken a learning, right steps like paperless entry. I mean, there'll be ticket, but everything on mobile. You get in, use your sanitizer. You don't require a physical box office. Everything is in your mobile. Go scan your barcode, enter inside. You don't have to go and stand in the queue for F&B. Your popcorn and cola are again on your palm top. We have developed an app where you just scan the code and the entire menu of the cinema will be on your mobile. You exit with the right precaution. We are using all the sanitization, all the material guided by WHO.
Okay.
So we have been preparing ourselves. We have prepared. We have done tests. Our safety of our not only the customers who are coming in, but also our internal staff. As I've told you, more than 200,000 people work for this industry only at the cinema level. We need them to be safe, and we will not do anything.
So you're trying to take all possible precautionary measures so that when people come back to the theatres, they do feel safe. Remember, initially there were apprehensions about starting air travel as well, but even that has started happening properly now. I would like to request one closing comment from each one of you on, this cinema in the time of Corona. We have to live with it. Your, takeaway, your suggestion to the viewers who are watching it, or if something that has changed in the industry. Let me begin with Mr. Madhur Bhandarkar.
See, I think the industry definitely has looked into the right perspective in terms of right now the shooting things are there or the theatre. But one thing I'd like to tell you as a filmmaker, as a storyteller, entertainment industry will always survive. I mean to say, we've seen from so many years, there's so many things happened. I mean, the post-Second World War also people thought the entertainment industry is going to die, and, we survived. Then there was a time when the video cassette came and people thought nobody wants to go in the theatre. We survived that. Then the cable came. And recently we saw the OTT platform came. And you saw recently OTT platform and the film cinema, they both coexisted so well. So there is a certain amount of magic when you go in the theatre, in the dark hall and with your family, your friends, and you see cinema. There are some cinema I want to see in the theatre only, not on the television or a home theatre somewhere.
Okay.
So industry, it will take time, like Devang sir said, it will take time, but definitely the magic of cinema is going to be there. We have seen a lot of adversity in our so many years of the filmmaking, and we have always come winner and survived and entertained the world. So definitely there will be where cinema will be as normal and people will be back to the screen. I'm very, very optimistic about it. At the same time, obviously the film industry, when we make film, that time only we can give the picture to the theatre owner. So I'm very optimistic about the entertainment industry.
Okay, I give you the last word, Nitin, Mukesh.
Anji, I just want to probably add to what Madhur sir is saying. I completely second whatever he's saying about the entertainment and how the audience definitely is going to lap it up instantly. But my only request probably would at this point with the audience be, and also probably with some of the critics, that all the content that's being developed during the pandemic, be a little lenient about criticizing it or praising it or any of that, because there are going to be a lot of, unfortunately, there are going to be a lot of, barriers that one will have to cross.
But in fact, they've been liking the content that has been produced during pandemic time, isn't it? Because our media consumption has really gone up.
Yes, exactly. But also what happens is, because Indian film industry is such a big industry, we've also, we are one of the largest industries in the world, in fact, and we make some great cinema. In fact, we have some really expensive films being produced also. So the kind of production value that one is used to, the audience is used to a certain production value, might not be the same. The content probably you're seeing right now is content that was developed almost a year ago and was in the making, which was just finished. But content that is going to start now and productions that are going to be being made now are going to be with a lot of restrictions. We are going to be following a certain amount of norms, like Madhur sir said, that hypothetically tomorrow there's a rally scene and we are not allowed to do a rally scene with maybe 400 people. Then there might be just that much limitation for a filmmaker to execute his shot or his shot taking. So if that finesse is not up to the mark, or an action sequence is not up to the expectation of what the production value should be, that's why. I mean, it's obviously on a very light note that I'm saying this, But I'm hoping that this, of course, is behind us very soon. I'm very
I'm sure the critics are going to pay attention to this request of yours. It was wonderful speaking to each one of you. We are really looking forward to the great content that you've been making and many more that's expected in the days to come. Madhur, Bhandarkar, Nitin, Mukesh, Devang Sampat, appreciate you joining us here on this special broadcast.